Here's a combination of actually 3 trips towards and up to the top of Mount Lukens above La Crescenta. Here's Mount Lukens as it looks from our front porch. Actually, the trail starts in Dukmagian Wilderness Park off the end of Dunsmore in La Crescenta. This is the old building at the start of the trip that used to be originally a winery and then for a number of years was a stables. This trail is called the Crescenta View Trail as it starts up Dunsmore Canyon, with an eager hiker getting revved up for the trip, along with another familiar face. A look back at La Crescenta as we begin to climb, and then a little bit higher, from where the Crescenta View Trail gets its name. Unfortunately, not too clear a day, but not that bad either. Here, looking out towards the horizon, the good old foothill freeway traversing the valley, and then a hazy Glendale freeway heading off in the distance. A look down at some of the other trails in the Dukmagian Wilderness Park. And here's Dale heading on up the trail for another look down below at the Crescenta Valley. And of course the trail keeps climbing until we find a strange circle of boulders that someone has placed up here. Why and who did it, I have no idea. Here's Dale in that same circle of boulders on that foggy day in February when we went up to Mount Lukens. And then looking ahead toward our goal, the towers atop Mount Lukens, where the trail continues on and we get closer and closer to our goal, where it begins to look like we'd almost reach out and touch them. And then the trail reaches the ridge line, where we can look back at the Crescenta Valley and also over onto the other side. That's Big Dahunka Canyon down there, along with some other peaks of the San Gabriels. There's even some snow visible on some of those higher peaks in the distance in the Mount Baldy area. And then we reach our goal, the communication towers on top of Mount Lukens, and with those snowbound peaks in the distance. And Dale wanders over to admire the view, even though it's a somewhat hazy one, and including a view to the north into the mountains, and to the south toward Glendale, with the Route 2 freeway heading down that way. And of course we have to prove that we actually made it up there, and that means both of us. This is quite some contrast to our trip up here in February, where we couldn't even see the tops of the towers. And then we stopped to eat some lunch and adjust some equipment before starting the trip back. But first, a final look at the Crescenta Valley and the San Gabriels before getting ready for the trip back. And that trip was by a different route, going down the Haines Canyon access road, which unfortunately is not very well maintained. It's pretty well eroded from rainstorms and pretty hard on the feet. Instead of going all the way down to the bottom of Haines Canyon, we took a separate trail that cut across back to Dukmagian Wilderness Park. This trail goes back down through picturesque Cook's Canyon, and thus ended a pretty good hike of about 10 miles with a 2,700-foot elevation gain.